I think- Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
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 Okay. Fantastic. We had some technical difficulties at the workshop meeting, so
Yes.
we all had to go back to school and figure it out. So, all right, just going to have a second for Dan to sit down. Very good. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming in today. Today, this is the Reading City of Reading Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. And we started at 6 o'clock today, so that is great. We have here, we have with us today, we have Peter Rye here in the third floor conference room. Danny DiCarlo, here in the third floor conference room. Nelson DeLeon is with us via Zoom, and I believe Will is with us via Zoom also. Wilson Fisa. So we will start the meeting. I would like to mention that Frank Dembowski sadly passed away on January 8th. And we will have a little. We will have a little more details about his contribution to the city and to the Planning Commission later on in the meeting. Do I hear a motion to accept the Planning Commission meeting agenda for tonight?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Will. Good to hear from you. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have an agenda. We have 5 with us today. Okay. First on the agenda, we have the Berks Catholic Pavilion Land Development Plan preliminary final review for a pavilion at 955 East Wyomissing Boulevard at that is Central. No, not Central. Berks Catholic. It's called now, right? Berks Catholic High School. I will turn this over to Jerome because this is the first time we're looking at this.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. This plan has been submitted as a preliminary / final land development plan. It is a pavilion that's sized 30 by 70 or 2,100 square feet. So that exceeds our land development requirements as well as the area of disturbance. The site is located within the R3 zoning district. The use is permitted by right. And we had a few stormwater management comments that will ultimately need to be addressed. The erosion and sedimentation control plan has been submitted. We had asked that Fire and Rescue Department also weigh in on the review of the project. The Berks County Planning Commission has issued their review letter. And a municipal improvements agreement will be necessary for the site improvements, as well as a stormwater management improvements agreement. This is a rather simple project, and we would recommend preliminary / final plan approval, subject to the applicant complying with those comments. Tim may have other comments in addition to those as well.
Yeah, thank you. Is Aristides here? Anyone from Stackhouse Bensinger representing?
Yes, he's here in the room with us.
Very good. You're so tiny, I can hardly see you. Aristide, and I think everyone is aware that the Berks Catholic had a prior plan for the athletic field. That was what, 2017. And with that, you did improvements to the stormwater management system for that. And it appears to me that you're tying in this increased impervious area with that system. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We're taking roof leaders from the proposed pavilion and tying them into an adjacent existing pipe end inlet that's in the lawn. Just, I guess, west of the proposed pavilion, which ultimately ties into the storm system, feeds into the existing storm.
Okay. If you could focus on the microphone, I got most of what you said. That's a yes. And I just wanted to make sure that Jerome and everyone understood that. And I think from the review, it sounded like maybe there needs to be a little more explanation as to how that increase in impervious will work together with the existing. Will you have to do any modifications to the existing stormwater system to accommodate the pavilion?
We'll try to speak directly at the microphone above my head. No, we don't think there is. I think, we received the Hawk Valley's comment letter in regards to stormwater management. I know our engineer has already looked at that and is revising the storm to show that the basin has adequate volume to handle what we're proposing. So I don't think there's any intent to make any revisions to the basin itself.
Yeah, that's good to know, because I know the last time we inspected it, it seemed to be operating very well, actually. In fact, it's probably one of the best infiltration basins I'm aware of. A lot of them don't work well, but this one seems to. So it's great if you can do it without having to mess around with it. Would like to see that happen.
Tim, I think we hit this on comment 5, F,
Okay.
and G.
Okay. So you're aware of that, then it is tying into the existing system. Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay. Then the other thing would be the stormwater management agreement, which is interesting because I looked at the old plan and there we were doing it the old way, the old fashioned way of putting a signed statement on the front page. And as you know, we're not doing it that way anymore. We're doing it the way similar to what you're seeing at the Reading School District STEM Academy. So we will need to see a separate written, stormwater management agreement. It should be pretty simple. It should be very similar to what you did before.
Yeah, with me is Mr. Birmingham with Berks Catholic, and regarding that, certainly if there's a standard template that you can provide that we can modify to reflect this particular basin, we can get that done pretty quickly. The one comment regarding easement that I wanted to ask about is I went back through and certainly in our project back in 2015, 2017, we did make some modifications to that basin. One to address our particular proposed conversion and building expansion. But I know at that time the city had some concerns about, I guess, downstream flooding, probably all the way down to Lancaster Ave.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't, that basin otherwise was existing. In regards to the easement, Mr. Birmingham could maybe clarify if this is acceptable, but in lieu of a 15-foot wide easement around that, could we offer a blanket easement for stormwater?
Yes, that's good. Yeah, that'll work fine.
Good. Okay. Excellent.
And with that, I don't think there's anything else on my list for this one. It is a fairly simple project. I agree.
Right. I think the only other question I had or clarification is the ENS plan, Reading Sediment Control Plan. We're below the threshold to submit to the district. We are certainly above the threshold to prepare an ENS plan, so we would not be getting a review and approval by the district. As long as everybody understands that's.
Yeah, the city has no concern with that. It's just kind of a word to the wise that if someone were to complain downstream, and you know how it is, the conservation district may come out and do an inspection. And if they don't see something right, if you don't have an ENS plan on site, whatever, they could stop your construction. because you haven't had it previously reviewed. But that's, I think you understand that, Aristides, and I just want to make sure that the Berks Catholic folks, that they understand that.
Yes, we do.
Okay?
Last question I had was on the municipal improvements agreement. I'm assuming that really just relates to erosion sedimentation control elements and proposed piping.
Correct.
Okay.
Michelle, would that fall under a minor agreement?
It would, but we haven't been able to finalize the minor agreement yet, depending on the timeline. It may just be quicker to just do an improvements agreement, standard improvements agreement.
Okay, very good. I was wondering how far along we were with that, so.
We're still tweaking it. We're pretty close. But I think it's just quicker to just do the standard agreement.
We may
Okay.
have less activity next month.
I'm sorry?
So we may have less activity next month, so we could focus on it.
Yes.
And Michelle, as far as the stormwater management agreement, would they be able to use the model that you gave them for the Reading School District project? Is it?
Yeah, I wrote myself a note to send it, but then I had a thought, yeah, both agreements are the same they did for the school district project.
Yeah.
So if you need me to resend the blank agreements, I can do that. If not, you can just use those forms.
All right, yeah, I'll check my email tomorrow, make sure I have the boilerplate ones.
Okay, and if not, send me an email.
Okay. Are there any other comments from staff? Okay, any comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, this is Will, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Will.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a simple plan. I was just curious. It's been a long time since I've been on the site. It's a slope there. Is it just grass presently?
Yes,
Okay, and the paved pathway there, that's like a gentle rise. There are no proposed changes to that. That's in adequate condition.
correct, Will.
Okay, and I guess there's adequate lighting in that.
Yeah, there's no need for a lighting plan.
No need for a light.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Will.
From there, a lot every day, pretty much.
Oh, good.
Five days a week.
Yeah. Anything, Pete?
Is this any closed or open? Open.
Yeah. Very good. With that, I have to go off my cheat sheet here. Do we have a motion to grant conditional preliminary final plan approval for the Berks Catholic Pavilion Land Development Plan, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates of January 19th, 2023, and the Berks County Planning Commission comments?
So move.
I'll offer that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Nelson,
What?
and the second
ahead.
by Will.
All right.
Okay, and question on the motion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Very good.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, would you want to add a motion authorizing you to execute the agreements?
Okay, I'll take Aristides' question and then we'll do that motion.
Sure. I think the one comment was regarding the need for a zoning permit. I believe the client had originally had a zoning permit denied. So So I guess I would coordinate with the zoning office to help resolve that.
Yeah.
Since we now have a conditional approval.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the reason for denial, if I'm correct, was land development and stormwater, so.
Yeah.
We should be in operation.
Okay, yeah, if you could just
Yeah.
get in touch with Tom or Emily or someone over there. I'm sure they can help you out now and
Tom's.
get that resolved. Oh, Tom is here?
Yeah, I understand. So with the approval of the planning commission, I'll be able to release that permit.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Tom. Okay, and then do I hear a motion to approve the chairman of the planning commission to execute any agreements needed for this project, including that for stormwater management and the municipal improvements agreement if needed? Sure. Okay, thank you, Peter. Second?
second,
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
aye,
Aye.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We are unanimous again. And Berks Catholic gets to move forward. Thank you for coming today and being so well prepared. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have. Okay, hopefully everybody's okay. Next we have the Burn Street Car Wash, lot number 1, subdivision and land development plan at 1725 North Fifth Street. And I will turn this over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, thank you. This is the Burn Street Car Wash, otherwise known as Lot 1 of this development. Our review is dated January 17th. As you may recall, the Planning Commission initially approved the plan on July 27, 2022. It was reaffirmed on November 1st, 2022. The remaining conditions, the plan was revised to address some of our comments. There are still some others that will need to be resolved. Some of the more prominent issues would be the highway occupancy permit, the joint access easement, the Berks County Conservation District approval, the municipal improvements agreement, and the stormwater management agreement. I think this is also on your agenda for reaffirmation. So the reaffirmation, if we do choose to reaffirm the plan, it would be then subject to the remaining comments issued on January 17th, 2023.
And Jerome,
believe
if I may add, the planning modules would also be required.
You're
And
correct.
they are in progress.
Thank you.
And the plan was reaffirmed at the last planning commission, along with the lot 2.
Okay. So there's no reaffirmation required. It's just then that this is now the short list.
Right, and this is Joan London. We are working on all of these items, the easements, improvements agreements, all of those are underway, and I believe highway occupancy. Greg?
Yeah, the highway occupancy permits, we got back about 5 comments that they wanted to see, mainly just drainage related. And the Conservation District has asked for the plans so that they could sign and seal them, that we've reached that level with them as well now.
Greg, do you think we're about within a month or two?
Yes.
Okay.
Greg, as long as we're talking about improvements agreement, check out the escrow. I don't think I'm seeing the sanitary sewer connection on that. It looked like you had water, stormwater. I didn't see sanitary sewer. If you could review that, make sure you're including the required improvements for that.
The sanitary sewer agreement or?
No, in the escrow, in the estimate,
estimate.
in your estimate, would be the sanitary sewer connection, the sanitary sewer piping. We also have a sampling manhole. I believe you're showing that now on the plan now too. That would need to be included.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other comments from the staff? Okay, with that, any comments from the commissioners? No, I think we pretty well know what's going on here, so very good.
It looks like no
Since-
action is required.
Yeah, yeah. So since Brandy's been keeping up with all of this stuff, if we need to do a reaffirmation, it looks like it would need to be done in February, and we will be more than glad to take care of that if that's needed, because we know that sometimes it takes a little while for PennDOT to to get things going.
Just for my files, can I just confirm? So we have approved final plan, and it's really just knocking out Jerome's comment letter along with the sewer module that was mentioned. Correct?
Yes, it's the municipal improvements. You're just gonna have to add the sanitary sewer connection.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll have the cost estimate and to finalize for the improvements agreement.
Correct.
Okay. Then we will move on to the companion project, the Burn Street Storage Lot 2 subdivision land development plan at 1704 North 6th Street. And I'll turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, thank you. This is a similar review. It's dated January 17th. Plan was previously approved on July 27th, reaffirmed on November 1st, and then reaffirmed again. The only comments that are going to be different on this one would be the sanitary sewer connection, as well as the there's no HOP required for this project. So the remaining conditions will be similar to the lot 1 improvements. We had asked one specific item, which was comment 5, which is regard to the comments that were previously made by Fire and Rescue Department. We just want to make sure that this plan is consistent with their previous comments, and if they have no other, then the plan is adequate. This is in regards to a water supply line that will need to be designed to reflect the compliance of the building code requirement. So we just want to make sure that we're okay on that one. The municipal improvements agreement may need to be adjusted to reflect that requirement.
If Jerome, if I can, the water, we added a note to the plan to indicate that everything would be consistent with the fire code. And the architect really has to work that out as part of the building permit, which is why we added that note to ensure that that would be accomplished.
Okay.
Because during our early conversations with the fire marshal, he didn't even need a fire hydrant in the middle of the site. And then with time in his negotiation, we added that. And I don't believe the architect felt that your fire marshal was correct, which is why it wasn't really a land development issue. It was more of a building and codes. So that's why we added the note, so that if any additional water needed to be added anywhere, it could be. But it wasn't felt that that was necessary.
Okay, but I think that should be adequate. All right, so the conditions, the remaining conditions would all be very similar to the other project.
Right, and like you had mentioned, this one doesn't really have a sewer module either, because it was an existing lot that was being utilized. And as you also noted, there was no HOP. So it looks like most of it's really just coming down to the agreements on this one.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments from staff?
Just clarification from Joan, you're going to do two separate agreements?
Two separate improvements agreements?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I was recalling a discussion about one, so I just wanted to confirm that.
Right. No, this can be, there are two separate lots, so it'd be two separate improvements agreements, two separate cost estimates.
And that's what I expected. I just was having a recollection for some reason that something that didn't exist. So thank you.
That's fine.
Hey, any comments from the commissioners?
I have a question. Is this going to get built simultaneously, lot one, lot two?
No, they do not need to be constructed simultaneously.
And then likely won't. But
Okay, so you're not expecting them to be constructed simultaneously?
They may be, but you know, the building for the car wash already exists, so it's more internal type work and some minor external work. I'd say the only thing, you know, is also just making sure that the paving and the striping gets worked out for their ingress and egress. But there's probably a lot less new construction type work associated with that project than the storage. The storage is going to require more earthwork.
Okay,
but the intent is to do them both. That's what she.
Yeah, I believe so, but I don't want to guarantee anything to you because they are under different ownership as well. Very similar, but not identical.
all right. Very good. Any other comments? Okay, once again, if this needs to be reaffirmed, looks like we would do that in February if that is needed. And we look forward to seeing the agreements, and then we'll go forward from there. Okay. Next on our list is the Triple Deuce Car Wash Land Development Plan at 1527 North Fifth Street. And I'll turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, this review was issued on January 16, 2023. This is a preliminary / final plan. It is a requirement that was directed by the zoning hearing board for a minor land development plan involving a food truck. The use has been reviewed, like I said, by the zoning hearing board. One of the key remaining comments that was left was that the applicant now has secured written authorization from the adjacent landowner regarding the physical location of the food truck to be located on the northern property line. And a note was should be added to that plan reflecting that. And if Michelle has anything further to add to that, if the new type of an agreement is necessary or if that's going to be adequate. It will be,
Jerome?
yeah, it will also be reflected as part of the zoning permit application itself.
I think that was our discussion. I was fine with the note as long as it was documented other places for reference.
And this is the updated plan that addressed that comment. That note is on the plan that's in front of you.
Okay.
Because Jerome was kind enough to provide the comments with enough advance notice that we were able to add that note on prior to the signatures that's on the sheet in front of you.
So it looks like everything's all in order and we would recommend preliminary / final plan approval.
Good. Do you have anything, Joan?
No, I don't have anything further. We're requesting plan approval tonight. I think we fulfilled all the conditions.
That's a very nice short letter. Any comments from the commissioners?
Just that I don't know if there's somewhere where we would document that the vehicle must be maintained in an operable condition. Talked about that a while back.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Is that on the plan, Michelle? About keeping the vehicle in an operable condition so it can be moved if need be?
I've not seen the plan. I would definitely make sure that was on the zoning permit.
Yeah.
We could also modify the note that's on the plan too.
Yeah, the three notes that are going to be on the zoning permit will be the operable condition of the vehicle, that it was placed there by neighbor consent per the letter, and that the location would not be deemed approval for any subsequent structure.
Thank you,
Right,
Tom.
and we had agreed to those at the prior meeting.
Mhm.
Okay. Very good. Sounds good. All right, with that, do I hear a motion to grant conditional preliminary final plan approval for the Triple Deuce Car Wash Land Development Plan, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates of January 16th, 2023?
Mr. Chairman, this is Michelle. Can I actually see the notes again?
Well, this is as well, Mr. Chairman. While she's getting that to review, I would just add, if it weren't clear already, that the operable condition would include that the vehicle has to have the current state registration.
Okay.
And I'm just one. I think a note should be added to, I would recommend adding a note to the plan to mirror the zoning permit that says this shall not be to allow for construction of a building, whatever that language was recited earlier.
That's underneath the variance. That the food truck as permitted is a temporary mobile structure. Its location is acknowledged to be within 10 foot. The property owner, the adjacent shall not be constructed as a pre-existing nonconformity or condition
Okay,
or as any other structure.
okay, I was focused on the notes.
Yep, I
didn't
understand.
the variance, so, okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay, do I hear a motion to grant the conditional preliminary final plan approval for the Triple Deuce Car Wash Land Development Plan, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates of January 16th, 2023?
So
I'll offer
move.
that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'm second.
Okay. Very good. I'll take Will first this time and then Nelson for the second. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Very good. We are unanimous and the car wash can move forward with their plans. Once they get their zoning permit and these few minor things taken care of.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your time
Thank
tonight.
you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Do we know what kind of food will be offered?
Dominican fare.
Oh,
Very good.
very good.
Yeah.
I approve
Looking
that.
We wanted to vote impartially, so now that we know where to get rice,
That's right.
rice and beans and all that, yeah, great.
I want to confirm that it's indeed Dominican. I'll drop by and see if it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely have to drop by. I only live 5 blocks away. So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank
Thanks.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks
And
much again.
Good luck to you, Joan, on your next meeting.
Thank you. Actually, I'm hanging around for a few more minutes for one of the other items. I'll stay as long as I can.
Oh, okay. Very good.
All right, thanks.
See her. All right, next on our list. Let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Yep. Next on our list is Holy Trinity Church of God Land Development Plan, and I will turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, this is a revised final plan that has been resubmitted by the applicant. The review letter is dated January 18th, 2023. As you may recall, this is a 6.4 acre site located at 1541 Montgomery Street. This will involve a new sanctuary building that will be able to accommodate 275 people, as well as an administrative center, a rectory utilizing an existing residential building, and also support type of requirements. Applicant has made significant progress on the plan. There are still some remaining issues that need to be addressed. Or so being going to number 4, the applicant will be vacating portions of Monroe Street and Mercer Street as part of this application. Did you make any application to City Council as of yet?
Our attorney is all but ready to get those submitted. All the documents that he needed to prepare already. I believe he's working on getting those to the city this week. So you should be seeing them in the next couple of days.
Okay. Moving on then to comment 5. We did have some correspondence back and forth with Bern Township. They are aware of the project and has provided us correspondence. Applicant will be required to comply with those requirements specified by Bern Township and Bern Township Municipal Authority.
Correct. Yes, we had a review letter from them, which we worked on and submitted, and then they issued a new comment letter with just a couple of comments. There were basically a couple of cleanup comments, but the majority of their concerns have been resolved with them.
Okay. Staying with sanitary sewer, the planning module that's going to be required for the project will need to be coordinated with Public Works Department, as well as possibly Bern Township Municipal Authority.
Correct. So the city already has the documentation. We are waiting on their review. And as well as Bern Township, they have the documents with them. And as of now, they did not issue any comments, which we understand they don't have any issue with what we have presented to them.
Okay.
Yeah, Jerome, you bring up a good comment there, and I hadn't thought about that. Eladia, as far as the Bern Township, we were going to handle it all, and I have to check with our engineering. Right now, the status of the planning modules is the engineering is done. The component 4A by our city planner is completed, and we're on deck to get a resolution. We need a resolution for the module from City Council, but I haven't seen any correspondences directly from the BTMA. I saw the response letter from Boja Engineering, but I haven't seen anything directly from them. They may need to sign off because they're part of the conveyance. Part of their line is a conveyance line, even though it's in the city.
We provided them a copy of the planning module when we made our submission to them.
Yes.
They did not issue any comment regarding that, which I'm assuming that as of now, they don't have any problem with what we have submitted to them, but I will follow up so that they can provide the signed document, so that way you can understand that they're in agreement with it.
It's an interesting situation where there's a collection system and a conveyance system, both by the city and by the municipal authority. So both the city and the municipal authority will be signing off on conveyance, and then the city will be signing off on the wastewater treatment. So we're going to need 2 pieces of that component 3. So I'm glad to hear that you've already initiated that. When they have that, let me know. Please send me a copy of that so I can have a complete copy. And then as soon as we get the resolution with the signatures, then you should have everything you need to put that all together. That'll be
Correct.
a nice little package.
I will be providing you as soon as we get the signed letter from them.
Was there any follow-up to the comment? And I saw the comment from Boja Engineering that there shouldn't be any need for a tapping fee or any kind of fee going to the municipal authority because of your prior understanding, and the owner's prior agreement. Was that resolved?
Correct. That has been resolved. We directed them to the previous agreement that was signed when the conveyance line was put into our property. And now they are in agreement that there's no need for a tapping fee
Okay.
for the connections to be made.
And as
Right
far-
now,
Yep. mhm.
yeah,
ahead.
right now, the only couple comments that they have issued to us are regarding the connections that we're doing. But that's only a couple comments that we are currently working on resolving. But there was no other issues regarding the tapping fee.
Okay. And then as far as moving forward, when it comes time to paying the monthly service fees, all of that, I'm assuming all of those fees will be collected by the city since you're in the city service area.
Correct.
My understanding is, I don't think, just because they're providing conveyance, I don't think they're going to collect any regular service fee out of this. Is that your understanding?
That is our understanding as well.
Okay, very good. Okay, and it looks like we got a good path forward.
There are a few traffic or accessibility comments that we have. They're just minor. We do also have a few stormwater management requirements that are still pending. One of the more prominent ones for stormwater is the stormwater management easement that will need to be established and acquired from or coordinated with the Berks County Parks and Department. And we've been touching base with the county and the county's representatives. And is Dave Paris here? Okay, Dave's wasn't able to attend.
Our attorney has been in contact with Dave Paris, and Dave Paris agreed to issue the documentation to provide us the access to that easement. As of now, we are preparing the easement documentation with the legals and exhibits so that the attorney can submit that to Dave Paris.
Okay, so Mark Cuck and Dave Paris will also keep us in the loop to make sure that that's been resolved.
Correct.
Okay. So the other critical issues that will need to be resolved are the municipal improvements agreement, in which they have submitted cost estimates, and the stormwater management maintenance agreement, which will also be required for this project. There are a lot of balls in the air. I have confidence that the applicant can resolve these issues, but I'll leave it up to the planning commission to make the determination whether or not we should grant final plan approval yet at this stage.
There was another item that was being discussed, and I'll just bring that up just so that everyone's aware. It's at the entrance of the two driveways. The city is going to install a no parking zone along Lackawanna Street. And yeah, if you want to just focus in on there, the drawing, and I believe it's in there, the drawing is in there, that where it shows that that's going to be assigned as a no parking zone. I don't even know, we do this during construction. It's not actually a major planning item. It could be handled as part of, I wouldn't let it hold up approval of the plan. I don't see that being a problem, but it will need to be an actual ordinance since we are installing a permanent change to the traffic arrangement on Lackawanna Street.
Yeah, so
that is on the schedule.
So
yeah, Mark is, I think he already reached out so that this gets added to the city council meeting. So that way the ordinance can be, so they can give the approval, so you can write the ordinance for the street vacation. And I believe I sent you the plan, which with the way that we wanted to move forward with it.
Yep, we got it. It's usually me who drafts it, so that's why I say it's on my schedule. So my goal is for the February 13th meeting to have that for the council's consideration. I also noticed there too, and I just, while you're zoomed in on it, the sidewalk isn't shown as being connected. I assume you'll be revising that so that we can see a connection of the sidewalk along Lackawanna Street.
Correct.
There's a gap there. So, okay, good. You'll make that revision. Okay, that's all I have on my list.
Very good. Any other comments from staff?
Do you have the sample agreements, do I need to send them to Mark Cuck so he can start working on them?
I would ask you to send it to us so that way I can confirm with Mark, but that way we have it, either he has it or not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions from the commissioners? I just thought of one and it escapes me. So, very good. Hearing none, I will make the comment that I would like to see I would like to at least see the beginning of the agreement between the applicant and Berks County started, and get a comment from Mr. Paris that he is okay with the movement on this project before we give approval, if that is good for the rest of the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, this is Will. Yes, there are a lot of facets to this project. There's been a lot of progress made on it, and I'm hopeful that it'll continue. But there are a lot of unfinished parts, and I particularly was thinking that I think I'd like to defer to City Council for them to approve their portions of things first before we presume what they're going to do and factor it into the plan. So it's the ordinance for the parking is scheduled before our next meeting. I'm not sure about the vacation. Could that be done by the time we meet next?
Yeah, I'm not sure if
Like
that. Yeah,
Yes?
was the paperwork for the vacation submitted already?
No, like I said, our Mark has already prepared all the documents. I spoke with him this morning, and he's ready to submit it in the next couple of days. So you should be seeing that before the end of the week.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
think,
it could get on the council's agenda in time then.
yeah. So as long as we
Okay,
see
great.
it on council's agenda, I think we'll be in much better shape.
Right. I mean, that's my thought, different angle, but the same conclusion you had, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
Just one
Very
other,
good.
just one other item, then if the planning commission does recommend that or does take the action that this plan should be tabled, let's check the time requirements to see if an extension is required.
The plan was extended, I believe it was last month. So we're good on time.
Fantastic.
Very good. Any other comments on this plan? All right. Do I hear a motion to table?
Yes.
Thank you, Peter. Second? Okay, thank you, Dan. And my pen's not working. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, very good. Sounds like we are unanimous, but we should be able to take action next month on this. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work on this project, and
Thank you.
we will see you next month.
Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have the 420 Walnut Street annexation plan, preliminary final plan review for 416 through 420 Walnut Street. And I'll send it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, this plan was previously approved by the Planning Commission on December 20th, 2022. My office had received an updated plan to attempt to address all the remaining comments. I issued a letter dated January 16, 2023, which now shortens the list of requirements that are necessary before the plan is signed or endorsed by the Planning Commission and then released for recording. So this is no actions required. This is just a short list of the items that are necessary.
Any comments from staff? Any comments from the applicant? Okay. Very good. Any comments from the commissioners? No, I think, yeah, we pretty well got everything. Okay, that, since this plan does not require any action, we just wanted to get the update for this. I'll ask one more time for any comments. Okay, hearing none, we will move to next on the agenda. 625 McKnight Park and Land Development Plan at 625 McKnight Street. And I'll turn this one over to Jerome.
Okay, this is a revised preliminary / final land development plan that has been submitted by the Reading Parking Authority. Our review is now dated January 17th, 2023. As you recall, this is located within the R3 zoning district. One of the critical items we were waiting on was the approval of the zoning variances that were necessary by the zoning hearing board. The zoning hearing board has acted on zoning hearing board appeal 2022-47, which was granted on January 11th, 2023. If Tom's still here, he can provide you with a further update on that.
Yeah, it'll just be subject to any conditions they have. But they received a full, an approval, so I don't really have any further update to that.
Okay. Moving down the list, the plan, they have submitted the revised stormwater management plan. The applicant should submit the terms and conditions that pertain to the ownership, maintenance, and use of the proposed of the property being developed. That's something that we wanted to have verification from, and then be noted on the plan. Other comments that we do have would include, they're minor ones that we have listed in here, but the last two critical ones are the municipal improvements agreement that would be required for this project, as well as the stormwater management maintenance agreement.
And Jerome, those were circulated today.
Okay.
Final review.
Then it appears that everything's in order. I think we're in a position to, my office is recommending preliminary / final plan approval subject to the comments issued in the January 17th letter. The applicant is here as well.
Any other comments?
And Tim may have some outstanding issues yet too.
No, actually, I'm good. I'm like Michelle said, I'm in review of this, and I had a question for Michelle on the escrow amount, but other than that, it looks like a good plan.
Yeah, one of the plan reviews, our comments, Tim, was with regards to the clear sight triangle that's shown on the plan.
Yeah.
And the on-street parking along McKnight. And I think that will need to be resolved with your office.
Well, I think the 75-foot clear sight triangles are now removed, right?
Yeah, it's the distance. I think it impedes one of the parking spaces.
I believe the 75-foot clear sight triangle was waived by the Planning Commission. So what we're showing in lieu of that is that's the PennDOT site distance criteria.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's a PennDOT site distance. That's not in the ordinance, but it's a PennDOT. Yeah, I've used that before.
Yeah, and I guess one of the questions we have is, it kind of falls back to the same situation as the previous plan. What we want to know is, the site distance would leave approximately 2 parking spaces on street toward the alley on the left, the way the plan is situated.
Yeah.
But the rest of that street, which is now allowable parking, would be prohibited.
Yeah.
So that will be something that the city will be adopting an ordinance. And I'm assuming you want the 2 parking spaces at the corner up by the alley.
Yeah, if you can fit them in. Now, Jerome, has Jim Dimmerling had a chance to look at this clear site?
Yes, that's his comment.
Okay. And I'll rely on his comment. He's the traffic engineer.
Okay.
It's comment 6.
Let me pull that up. So he's saying that maybe it would be restricted along the entire stretch between the alley and the intersection.
Well, I think it's the next parking space in, if someone has whoever has control of the cursor, move it to the right, keep going and stop.
Well, that's what we're showing, but the review letter said that sign would need to be moved to the left to a point where an on-street parking space, it basically leaves about 44 feet to, assuming that you want 5 feet from the corner of the alley to start a parking space. That would leave us about 42 or 43 feet where the car would not interfere with the site distance.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a way for you not to lose any on-street parking spaces.
And I agree, and I don't, being that I believe the city requires 5 feet, a parking space to be set 5 feet from the alley. I'm not quite sure why they would be more restrictive for this driveway.
What I'm thinking is, did the waiver request that was granted to you last meeting, does that provide you with, does this reflect the waiver that was granted last month?
Yeah, so the waiver that was granted last month had to do with the clear site triangle.
And this is now down to the site distance.
Yeah, I believe that came up, I believe that was one of Jim's comments about the site distance.
So it's not really in the ordinance. We're using that in lieu of.
I don't believe so. I don't believe
as a best management practice, and which I agree with, and I think Jim Dimmerling agrees with. The part of the comment number 6, Drum, that I don't quite get is the part that says parking may be restricted along the entire site frontage.
Yeah, I don't think it's the entire straight.
I don't think so either. I get it with the width of the car. I get the width of the car.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to back the no parking sign to the left, but I'm agreeing with
right there.
Craig that there should be at least 2 or maybe 3 spaces that you could squeeze in there between there and the alley.
I mean, if you're going to go with strict adherence to your parallel parking requirements, I think it would be a line that would be 7 feet offset the curb line and parallel to that curb line, and where that would intersect with the sight line that we show is about 46 or 47 feet from the edge of the alley on the left. So at 20 feet, I believe that's what your ordinance requires for an on-street, the length of an on-street parking space. that's what we'd be left with there is two, which
Mhm.
seems contrary to what the city's trying to accomplish with these parking lots, but
Well, we're also trying to establish, safe parking. You have to,
I understand that.
Yeah.
I do understand that.
yeah. And PennDOT's been doing this a lot longer than I have.
Me too.
And they're in the business of safety. And, if accidents happen, this is the kind of thing we need to fall back on and why we did what we did.
Understood. And to us, it really doesn't matter to us. It's totally your call. We just
Mhm.
need to know what you want us to do to address that situation.
And
it sounds like-
it's not all the parking spaces, it's just to that point where it doesn't impede the clear sight triangle, so.
Right,
Yeah.
so what you're gonna get there is about 2 parking spaces left on McKnight.
If Jerome, if Jim Dimmerling is fine with the 2 spaces, and I'm not sure I'm quite reading his comment correctly, what Craig is arguing, I would tend to agree with. If there's
Yeah,
44
and
spaces,
I went over this. with Jim, and
44 feet, you got 2 spaces. Let's put the 2 spaces in.
Yeah, I went over this with Jim, and I think the wording is incorrect, so yeah,
Okay.
it's just that space.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what we'll do is we'll move that proposed no parking sign down to a point where we meet that width requirement for a parked car.
Yeah.
And we'll show 2 spaces there. Do you want us to actually show striping there for 2 spaces or just leave that blank? You don't
that's your-
generally stripe parallel parking in the city, I don't believe.
Tim, I'll leave that up to you.
We do
now.
Yeah.
You may want to do that, but hold off if you're going to do that immediately, because that is on the plan for being repaved.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna go run out and mark those spaces.
Well, and we're not exactly going to run out and pave that tomorrow either.
I understand.
It may be later in the season, depending on how much money I have left in my kitty to go paving streets, because I got a lot of streets to pave.
Okay.
So, but it is on the list. It is on the list. And
That's right.
Nathan, also 4th Street and 5th Street are also on the list. I think I sent you an email, just a side note there, in case you're
Mhm.
planning on doing any striping on those streets. It's good to know, and Craig, it's good to know which streets the city is going to pave and which streets PennDOT is paving. So just we'll want to keep that in mind.
All right, so having said all that, then the rest of the comments then pretty much are straightforward, what's required between now and when the plan's endorsed and released for reporting.
Good. Any other comments from staff? Any comments from the commissioners?
That triangle there, is that a function of speed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. This is 25-mile-an-hour street, I presume.
Is that right, Craig?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe if you scroll up under McKnight Street, I believe it tells you there. Expand that, zoom in on that.
Triangle for 25 miles an hour.
Oh, okay, there it is. Yep, right above that. Yep. Yep, there it is.
If you're looking at Google right now, there's a picture shows 10 cars parked on that length of curb. That's going to get reduced down to what? Two on each side. Two on the way, which way is west and east.
Well, I don't know if you'll be able to park any on the side toward the intersection.
No, nothing fits there.
Is you have to be 20 feet from a crosswalk, or 30 feet if it's a stop sign. I forget if it's a stop sign there.
Alley to alley. There's
Oh,
10
it's an
cars.
alley. Yeah.
There's 10 cars there now. It's going to get reduced to 2 on each 4, right?
Yep. Driveways will do that.
So
And just to let you know, anytime a driveway is proposed on a state highway, this is not a state highway, but if it were, we'd be looking at the exact same situation. They would be using this type of clear sight area, triangle, whatever you want to call it.
The intent here is to lease these spaces to residents in the area, is that?
Yes.
Yeah. So the argument is you took away our free parking, it's in order for you to get revenue from.
Listen, we didn't take away the free parking.
Oh,
You're taking away the free parking.
yeah, all more parking is good.
Yeah.
Do you know what you intend to charge for these spaces?
So this is part of the CPR program, and the last 6 or 8 lots that we've put online, we typically start at $30 a month. We just had one that went live up in Glenside, up in the housing project that just went live this week, and that one it started at $30 a month. The only time we typically go above that is if it fills up, and if it fills up, some of our lots have gone up to like 45 or up to 50, but I do not anticipate this lot filling up instantly. That's a lot of space.
And there's very few residences on that block.
Along
Because
the McKnight Street side, yes. Along the other sides, it's a very dense residential area.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but directly across the street is a storage facility
Right.
that takes up quite a big area also. So I'm personally not very concerned about losing 8 parking spaces in that area, especially since I used to work around the corner and was almost always able to get a parking space on Greenwood Street.
So if you don't fill up at $30 a month, will you drop it to 25 or something? Try to fill it up.
No, we haven't dropped anything below 30 yet. We've been just hovering right there at 30. What we're also doing is in excess space, we're leasing it out commercially. So if there's businesses in the area that want to lease it out, for example, other lots, we've had limousine companies or box trucks, those types of companies that can't park in regular areas. We've leased spaces out to them as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other?
Speaking of charging, Mr. Chairman, this is Will. I see that on the plan, there's an electric vehicle charging station, which is good. Is that a first for the parking authority?
No, we have them in the DoubleTree garage, and we're working.
I knew there was one there, but I forgot that's your lot, right?
Yeah, there's 4. We have 4 in that facility.
Right.
We're working on having a consultant advise us on how to do a comprehensive plan for EV charging in all of our facilities. So it's coming. That world is changing every month. So that's, yeah.
So it'll be the first new one since those were put in, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I think already. So that's great. I just wanted to call attention to that. That's something we should, just to make a note on, we should think about incorporating into the comprehensive plan. But thank you. That's all I had on this plan.
I just wanted to, since we're on the topic of EVs and charging stations and the DoubleTree garage, I wanted to just make you aware that there are, I think, 2 or 3 Tesla stations and 1 every other car model station, and the one every other car model station does not work and has not worked for a long time.
Yes, we're aware. I saw it laying in the office. They ordered a new one for that one.
Thank you.
Oh.
Great. Any other comments on this plan? Okay. With that, do I hear a motion to grant conditional preliminary final plan approval for 625 McKnight Street parking land development plan, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates of January 17th, 2023? Okay, Peter, second?
Second.
Okay. I'll take Dan this time. Very good. And question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And we are unanimous. Do I need, Michelle, do I need to do a motion for executing the agreements?
Yes, because those are gonna, yes, those should definitely be done before the next meeting.
Okay, great. Then do I hear a motion to allow the chairman of the planning commission to execute the municipal improvements agreement and the stormwater management agreement and any other agreements that may be required?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Second?
Second.
Okay, Will? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And I heard everybody, so that's unanimous. And I think we can move this one forward. Thank you very much for attending. Once again, thank you, Nathan, to your staff this morning. They were excellent.
Thank you, everyone.
I don't know if you saw my
Thank you
email
all.
that I sent.
No,
you.
I didn't. What?
It's always a pleasure.
No, I didn't see your email.
Oh, great. So I just wanted to let you know they were fantastic this morning, and I think we'll get this problem resolved now, because I'm tired of people parking in that bus stop, because it's a very busy bus stop, especially early in the morning.
Yeah, I'm sure we can help you with that.
Okay, thank you very much.
So thank you for the approval, and I'm sure we have many more coming before you soon. So we'll see you again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good.
All right, next, we have the Albright Gingrich Library renovation land development plan, and I'll turn this one over to Jerome.
Okay, this is the final land development plan application for Albright College, Gingrich Hall. We have reviewed this plan in the past as a preliminary plan. This is now a final plan. It's located on 1.9 acres along the east side of North 13th Street. The remaining comments that we have in place, it appears that we still need just a few items to be resolved with stormwater management, in which I think that these are just more so technical issues that need to be addressed. The Berks County Conservation District will need to issue their letter of adequacy just to make sure that we have everything in terms of checks and balances. Just wanted to make sure that the fire and rescue department is on board with the project and make sure that they see the final plan. There will be a municipal improvements agreement that's required for this plan, as well as the stormwater management maintenance agreement for this plan. It is in fairly good shape, and the conditions that I noted can be applied as conditions of approval, and we are recommending final plan approval.
Do you have anything, Tim?
No, I actually, I agree with Jerome. I think we need the improvement agreement and the stormwater management agreement. And I wasn't sure about the status of that and if Michelle has generated any samples for consideration by the college.
I believe I sent them out, the sample agreements. I have not
good.
seen anything come back.
Okay,
Brad
That's
is
all.
here with us, so I'll turn it over to Brad.
Michelle, Joan had to drop off. She had another meeting. She was not able to attend, but she has those. We have our probable statement of cost, our estimate for that. That has been forwarded to Joan as well. So that was the last thing that we were looking for to complete, to attach. And then we're sending those to you, Michelle.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions from staff? Okay, any, Brooke, go ahead, Brooke.
Mr. Chairman, if I may also, we have been going back and forth with Jeremy Searles, and we have met with him numerous times. We just met with him earlier this week, late last week. So we have talked with him about the project. He's in agreement with that. I don't think there's anything right now, Jerome and Christina, you can jump in here as well, that is holding or forgiving us from not meeting these conditions.
Right. I just want to give Jeremy the final say on, he can issue an email saying that he's fine with it. Most of the fire and, I'm sorry, the code enforcement issues will be resolved as part of the building permit application. But I just wanted to make sure that Jeremy's on board with the project.
No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah,
Go
he
ahead.
is. Yeah, we just had a meeting with him last week to button up the last issue that he had asked about with the standpipe and the hydrant. So we have that all figured out. We will be making the changes to the plan and then submitting back to Rawa and to Jerome at the same time and making sure that we get that all buttoned up as well. They're all minor adjustments we need to make to the plans.
Okay, even if Jeremy just sends an email, that's fine.
Yep.
We'll get them to do that, Jerome. And also the Conservation District, we should have our next program there around comments by mid-February. Is that correct, Christina?
Yeah, we've been given the administratively complete as of 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
So we should get those comments within the next 2 weeks. They typically have a 30-day turnaround time.
Okay. Yeah. On as far as we only look for the submission at this point. So that's great.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any comments from the commissioners?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is Will. At the previous presentation, of course, as I am this evening, I was attending over the phone and I could not see the presentation, but I want to thank our planner who made it, directed me how to view it from home. So I was able to do that, and I was very pleased with what I saw. I just wanted to say, that building with it, the current building with the severe walls, I would call them, with that dark brown brick cladding and very little fenestration, and what there is small and blocked. And to have that improved here, not only with all the glass, of course, letting in the natural light, which is good for the environment too, and for the well-being of the people inside, and energy efficiency, of course, But I like that, what looks like the limestone block cladding. It gives it a more of a monumental kind of a style effect, which I think is more befitting of a public building like this. And somehow, at least from the elevations, I saw, even though the massing is being proposed to be increased on the building with the additional, atrium parts, it still appears to be less heavy and therefore less imposing and more inviting. So I just think that, the difference between the glass and the color, it's making a big difference. At this prominent building, and I live in the Heights Conservation District, which surrounds the campus, and it'll make this building, it's still a modern building. It's a public building, but it'll fit in better, certainly than it did before. And I just think it's a big improvement aesthetically. And of course, I reviewed the landscape plans, and those appeared to be good. And of course, a big concern we had was the the drainage of the water. So it appears everything is being addressed. I think overall it's a good plan, and I really appreciate the applicant's efforts here and to communicate with us and address every concern that the city had. Thank you.
We sincerely appreciate those comments.
Very good. Any other comments on this plan?
They call it brutalist architecture, yeah.
Yeah.
The existing architecture was very brutalist.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. As a style, actually. Yeah. It's an own style, yeah. Some people will amend the lawsuits, buildings that we're taking our, redoing because we don't like them. But I agree, it's not very appealing.
The architect, they have, I named it the tyranny of the cube.
Yeah.
Kind of running joke that we have, but actually known as the tyranny of the cube.
Yeah. No, it's I'm very, as I've mentioned before, I'm very pleased with the progress of this plan. And I think this is like the smoothest the smoothest plan we've had in a long and from Albright in a very long time. And over the years, we've had a lot simpler plans, but they didn't move forward because for some reason Albright couldn't coordinate everything, and Albright has coordinated everything beautifully. We really appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman and committee members, we sincerely appreciate that. Jeff Strader, our CFO, he is also on the meeting as well. This is our commitment to the city. We are here to make sure that we do this going forward in a very professional manner, have everything lined up, not waste anybody's time. So thank you for the comments.
With that, I will ask for a motion to grant conditional final plan approval for the Albright Gingrich Library renovation land development plan, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates of January 18th, 2023.
So move.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Second? Okay, I believe that was Dan. Okay. Very good. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, I heard from everybody, so we are unanimous. Do I hear a motion to allow the chairman of the planning commission to execute the municipal improvements agreement and the stormwater management agreement and any other agreement that if needed? Okay, Peter?
I'll offer that
Second.
motion.
Okay, I'll take Will this time. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 I heard from everybody, so we are unanimous. And with that, you just have a few things to pull together yet. So
Thank you very much, everybody. Our sincere appreciation.
Thank you.
Will be ecstatic.
yeah, I'm sure she will. Quick question, Brad. Many years ago, there was a plan that was brought forth to build a new science building. And I always complained that they were building a science building so that there would be handicap access for the chapel. Is there a plan for elevators and handicap access to the second floor of the upper level of the chapel in the future?
I do not know that. However, since I'm a sort of a newbie to the campus, let me get back to you, Jeff, and I will look at that and we'll discuss. See, let me get back to you about that.
Yeah, if you find the plan, it's from quite a while ago.
Okay.
We're going to build this new science building, which was going to flood anyway. And then they were going to attach it to the chapel so that they could have handicap access.
I'm a little bit because of the proximity of buildings you're talking about, a relative chapel.
Well, that was the other thing that we didn't like about it. It was going to be this huge science building and was going to dwarf the elementary school. And we said, no, renovate the existing science building. And somebody the donor came forward, and somehow Albright was able to put that together. And then I heard that Albright was going to come back with a plan for a stair tower or elevators or something for the chapel. And like I said, I was just thinking about it. And
Well, there was a plan that was submitted for the library that had a elevator tower for that. That was probably submitted about 3 years ago for preliminary. And that I do know for sure. That plan got completely, as you know now, that's completely garbage. Chapter 13, whatever you want to say. But let me look at the chapel. Let me go back and revisit some of this, and I'll get back to you.
yeah, take your time. I just wanted to mention it because it might be something you want to put on your wish list, because it was something that was discussed all those years ago when they talked about this science building.
There's a lot of wish lists.
I can believe it.
The problem is
That was long before I was on the planning commission too, Mr. Chairman, but I remember an issue there of concern was the elimination of the setback
Oh,
on
that
13th
too.
Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know those other details, so that was interesting. But yeah, it would have sacrificed the setback there, and it just would have squeezed the building in there. I don't think aesthetically that would have been good. And for other reasons, as I said before, why we have setbacks in our zoning ordinance in the first place. I noticed the tractor trailer parked on the former David Crystal lot that the college owns. I saw it yesterday. I'll be looking forward to hearing the plans for that for that lot. It's been empty a couple of years now. I'm not sure how many, two, at least two, but I'm thinking maybe 3 or 4. I've lost count. So.
It's probably been at least 3, if not closer to 4.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. It was before the pandemic, I believe. Yeah.
Without too much of forward thinking here, we were looking at trying to develop and put a residence hall in there with some mixed use. Then we opted and pivoted over towards where the new dorm location. There is some talk about a track and field up there. What some early studies for that. There's some wetlands mitigation we have to look at to do that, but right now it goes back to the donor work. It's finding somebody, a donor, to step up and help us, speak with us. Do that. We are looking at more revenue enhanced projects with Leo Camp Building to redevelop that building. That's we have some grant money that we have received, some RCAP money to look at this. So again, we're looking at those type of projects that are revenue generating and that grant money that we need to meet to match that grant money. So that's currently what our biggest, I say for my workload, my challenge, and with Jeff's direction here is looking how we can develop those programs to go in there that will generate revenue, and that we can find donors and gifts, people match those RCAP funds. I'm more than willing to, take time with you guys, Jeff, myself, to get offline. We can sit down and kind of go through some of the projects here that we're looking at, some of the forward thinking that we're talking about. So we have no problem with that.
Okay. Yeah, we can sit down and schedule you for one of our workshop meetings.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Okay, so yeah, maybe April.
Sounds good.
Okay, very good.
Great. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming to the meeting. And we look forward to the first shovel in the ground here on this one.
Same here. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Where are we at here? 13, right?
Yep, we're on 13 now. Yes.
Next, we have the Reading Housing Authority Oak Brook Daycare Center Land Development Plan at 1001 Scott Street. This is a preliminary / final on to allow a daycare in an existing building, I believe, if I remember correctly. I'll turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, this project was approved by the Planning Commission on December 20th, 2022. There were a number of conditions. The applicant has submitted a revised plan to address a significant amount of those comments. So what we did was we issued a new letter dated January 19th, 2023, which identifies the remaining issues that still need to be resolved. And those are the sanitary sewer disposal issues that need to be addressed via the planning module, water supply connection, certificate of accuracy and ownership, the municipal improvements agreement, and the stormwater management maintenance agreement. All those, I believe, are under the applicant's control, and they have reached out to the folks that need to see resolution to those comments. So this is just a short list of the remaining issues. You do not need to take any action on this.
Jerome, just to follow up, I believe I circulated the agreements for final review.
Okay.
And Jerome, I think we have a note on the plan that explains why we don't need planning modules on this one, if I recall correctly. So I think the planning module item is already taken care of.
Is all.
Oh, yeah, and I have one question for Will. I think I heard you say that you can't see the meeting. Is that right, Will?
Yes, I'm on Zoom, but I only can attend telephonically. The technology never seems to work right for me.
Well,
but I was able to view that, and also the school district presentation.
Well,
and the documents are sent to me and that.
Right. I'm just saying, you may not be aware that BCTV is broadcasting this live. So if you can get BCTV
I know.
on your
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I'd have to be where I'm close to the television, and I'm not sure if they're synced exactly, but yeah, I know.
They're probably
I think one
not.
time
You'd have to turn the volume down.
I think I did turn it on when I had to leave my space here, but thank you. I know I can always catch it on a rebroadcast.
Right.
And of course, available through their website. It's good to point that out. Thank you. Yep.
Okay.
People do watch. I know. We, Mr. Chairman, you and I have talked about that. We hear from people from time to time who catch it, and some people watch faithfully, and we appreciate that. And like I said, I used to watch myself, but no, good you pointed it out.
Okay.
Tim,
just want to be sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's. Yeah, sometimes when I have to step away, I think I could turn the television on. But yeah, I wouldn't want to create feedback or anything. Or like I say, it might be a little out of sync, a few seconds or something, maybe only. But yeah, no, that's always a great backup. I guess I could put that on the screen in silence too, but then I can't hear it. Something like that. But no, that's good to point that out. I know it comes up. Other members have appeared over the phone as well, and we miss out on seeing the elevations when those are shown or anything like that. They're usually not included in plans, but our staff has done a great job of trying to make those available to us. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Did we already give conditional approval to this one?
Yeah, December 20th, I believe. Is that correct, Randy?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no action required.
Very good. I forgot. We see too much.
It's hard to keep track.
Trying.
Yeah. Just make myself a note here. Okay, very good. I don't know. Is anyone here for the applicant? Yeah. Okay. Hearing none. Any comments from the commissioners? Okay, I don't have any either. It's moving along nicely. So, okay. With that is the that is the end of the review of the plans on our list today. So we will go on to other business. First is the project updates and pending plans, which were included.
Chairman, I think I owe you that, Phil.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, I forget where. Because I was looking at so many things today that I may have I probably looked at last month's list. That's what it was. So so we will be seeing that very shortly from Brandy, an update on that. Next, we have the active plans requesting reaffirmation approval. So we will go through these quickly. The first one is 322 Walnut Street annexation and land development plan. Do you have anything on this, Jerome?
I'm going to let Brandy handle this section because she was coordinating with the applicants directly. So she probably has the best answers to some of these questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. We did receive the signed form, so it's ready for reaffirmation. And just a quick note for all the reaffirmations and extensions this evening. We're just, trying to keep them in line with the MPC, and all of the extensions are 90 days for both the reaffirmations, of which we have, I believe there are 9 this evening, and then there are 3 extensions. Again, that's 90 days.
Cool. All right. So do I hear a motion to reaffirm 322 Walnut Street annexation? Okay, thank you, Peter. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Heard from everybody, so we are unanimous on that. Next one is Remcon Plastics at 208 Chestnut Street. We had a question about this one at the meeting.
What do you remember what the question was?
That they might withdraw.
Oh, no, they submitted their form. So it's ready for reaffirmation. Just to remind folks, this was a 4,800 square foot building addition.
Okay, I guess we're still waiting for the contract on this one because it's been on the waiting list for a while for them to make a move.
For this one actually predates my.
Yes, it does.
So yeah, I'm kind of wondering if we're now a year months down the road here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, from what I understand, the whole project hinges on a government contract.
Oh, I see. Customer contract though, just.
Yeah, U.S. Federal contract for the is their customers. So, all right. Do I hear a motion to reaffirm the plan for Remcon Plastics?
So move.
I'll move that, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Will, and I'll take Nelson. That's the second. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, aye. Yeah. Next, we have 600 South 9th Street Auto Repair Center, land development plan. Do I hear a motion for reaffirmation? Okay, thank you, Peter. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Nelson. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Next is the Berkshire Building Land Development Plan. I think we're just waiting on plans to be resubmitted so that we can actually sign them.
Yes, and we do have the plans to resubmit. This came up, I think it was at my first planning commission meeting. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, so I do now. So yeah, they just need to be circulated to PC.
Okay, fantastic. We got that going. It was a mess because they recorded it without our signatures.
Yes.
So, do I hear a motion to reaffirm the, okay, Dan? Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Or everybody, so, we are unanimous on that one. Next one is the reaffirmation of 35 North Sixth Street. This is the former Meridian headquarters building at 6th and Washington. Do I hear a motion to reaffirm? Okay, Dan, second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Nelson. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Next one is 531 Upland Avenue Annexation and Land Development Plan. Do I hear a motion to reaffirm? Okay, thank you, Peter. Second? Okay,
Second.
thank you, Dan. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Next is the 1010 and 1012 Lancaster Avenue Annexation Plan. Do I hear a motion to reaffirm?
So move.
Okay, Nelson, second? Yeah. Okay, Peter? Sorry, my wrist is beginning to give out. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Unanimous to go. Next one is reaffirmation for the Iron Gate Land Development Plan. They moving forward with this?
They are, yes, we have a signed reaffirmation request form.
Okay. After all the problems we had with this one.
Right.
Yeah, and now it's sitting for 6 months or so. So, all right. Motion to reaffirm?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay. Peter's first. I'll take Will as the second. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, heard from everybody there. And the last reaffirmation is for Supernatural Produce 3 at 243 North 4th Street. Do I hear a motion to reaffirm?
So move.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Second? Okay, thank you, Peter. Question on the motion?
Is this one moving forward? I know there's a funding problem now for this one, a substantial amount, $750,000 is what I read.
They also need the highway occupancy permit from PennDOT.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 1.5 million and City Council agreed to 750,000 and the County of Berks agreed to 750,000.
Okay, so they got their funding. Okay.
So they do have their funding, so they, as far as I know, they are going to move forward. Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 There we go. Okay, here's all the reaffirmations. Now we move on to the active plans requiring a time extension. First one is 743 Thorn Street, Annexation and Land Development Plan. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Nelson.
Brandy, was a time extension requested?
I have received the form for the extension, and when I wrote to Dan, I asked him if they wanted to withdraw, and he didn't indicate that, so.
Mr. Chairman, the zoning office, the zoning administrator is still present. He can provide you an update on the action that the zoning hearing board had taken.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the zoning hearing board pretty much denied flat out the application for the lot consolidation for the expansion of the restaurant on Douglas. So at this point, unless they appeal, it will be a fatal decision. They still have about 2 weeks left to appeal. I don't know what their intention is going to be. And, what their, I don't know what the ball is in their court. So by next month, the status will either be fatal and definitive, or it will be pending, a review of in the courts.
So I would recommend that we proceed with the extension, and then at the next, if what Tom has mentioned does occur, then we can take action on it at that time.
Right.
Okay, I agree with that. We should wait for the appeal time to be over.
Sure.
Okay, second on the motion, or did I miss that?
Nelson's first, we need a second.
Okay, do we have a second on the motion for the time extension?
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Very good. Next one is time extension for Iglesia Pentecostal Movimiento de Fe land development plan at 1124 Schuylkill Avenue. This is the church that used to be a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
The motion for time extension. Okay, thank you, Dan. Second.
Second.
Okay, Nelson. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Zoning office is also following this one as well.
Yeah, I know that Jamal has some questions on this one. So we will let the the zoning office work their magic one way or the other. And the last time extension request is from Villa Independent Cottages Land Development Plan. Do I hear a motion for the time extension? Okay, thank you, Dan. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Nelson. Question on the motion?
Do we have any understanding of what's going on?
I don't think there's been any updates. No, but we do have the signed request.
Peter, we haven't gotten any other correspondence or communication from them other than the last time we saw them was I guess roughly 90 days ago, which they had asked for the time extension, and the applicant made an appearance and said that they would be more actively involved with the project.
Really hasn't happened. So next time around, we might have to look at this a little more carefully. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay, we are unanimous on that one. On to page 4. Like, who was that? Lee Harvey.
All Harvey.
Paul Harvey. There we go.
This is the rest of the story.
Yeah. That's here. We're under announcements, reports, and other planning commission business. First is a summary of the planning workshop. Here it was Nelson, Will, and I were at that meeting, and we with the help of the Cohen Group or Cohen Law or something like that. We went over the changes. I think the biggest change is that they took some things out of the ordinance, and they put them into a thing called the Small Wireless Communications Facility Design Manual. So that if there needs to be updates required by city council or public works or something like that, they only need to update this, not the ordinance, to make it easier for the city to deal with these types of projects.
And the
Did you want to
changes that
add
were-
anything to? Oh, go ahead,
Yeah,
Will.
thank you. Yeah, just that the changes were recommended were because of changes in federal law.
Correct.
It's not that we necessarily would have wanted to change our ordinance. We had just recommended a few years ago, but we didn't have much of a choice.
So, would you
I'm
like to
sorry.
add anything?
I'm just gonna ask
Go
Brandy,
ahead.
we had asked for the one change regarding the penalty section. I did not see a revised draft. Have you?
No, I haven't. Said he was gonna send it immediately and I didn't see one, so I can follow up with Mr. Roberts to have him make that one change and provide a revised version.
And just for the members who were not present, he had put a specific penalty section in with the wireless. Our recommendation had been, there's already a penalty section, just leave that in the zoning ordinance. There's no reason to duplicate and cause confusion. So if you're so inclined to recommend to council to go forward with this, I would make a condition upon that recommendation with that change. And you are correct. This was based on law changes, including laws in Pennsylvania requiring municipalities to allow small wireless facilities, which are basically antennas, in the briefest description, antennas on utility poles.
Very good. With that, do I hear a motion to recommend to city council with the recommendation, with the changes that are recommended by council, by our legal counsel? Okay,
Second.
I'll go ahead and make that. Okay, and Nelson for a second. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay, very good. We have a recommendation to council with that change. So Brandy will follow up on that and get that through. The other thing we did was we reviewed some saldo zoning and saldo amendments, and went through those things. Here where they are.
You should have received the package, that was the latest draft, that we have, and, those are gonna be made for further discussion at the next workshop session, which is the third, Tuesday of February, which is February 21st.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll be hitting this one again on the workshop meeting, and I do have some minor grammar things, but yeah, we recommended some things about like definition for what older school age level children means and stuff like that. And Shannon's going to work on that stuff and make sure that that's ready for us next month.
We're also gonna forward this initial draft to the Berks County Planning Commission to get their initial comments as well.
Yeah. Yep. So we're finally moving ahead on this after about 5 months of waiting, I guess. The next thing we did was we had a quick discussion about strategies for moving ahead on the comprehensive plan, and Brandy did send out the document that was prepared by staff, and we'll hit this up again at the next workshop meeting. Next on my list, Brandy and I were talking about having a line item for training opportunities where if it's a nominal amount, like this one that we were recently invited to was $25 each. That we have a line item in the budget so that the city will pay for this. Hopefully, I will eventually be able to get it so that when we get invited to larger conferences where the admission fee is like $325, we can actually get that paid and go to those too. I figure since we are volunteers, we shouldn't be putting money out of our pocket for such thing. And then we used to have a line item for this and it was removed from the budget. So I'm going to go forward to city council and ask them to put it back in.
There was of course it offered at Albright. All the school there.
Oh yeah, what is that called, Jerome?
Center of Excellence for Local Government.
Municipal
Center of Excellence for Local Government.
What is the tuition for those courses?
So it's very reasonable. It's like $20, $25, $50, something like that. And the last time I went to one, I went because of blighted properties, and Linda found a way for everybody to go who wanted to go. So we're going to work on the same thing. Next, remembrance of Frank Dembowski. I just wanted to personally say that I first met Frank when he was working for the Parks Department, and he was managing the recreation center on 11th Street. I forget what the cross street is. And we were very good friends ever since. I was about 15 years ago. And the thing about Frank is that even when he was not an employee of the city, because there were a few years where he actually worked for the state of Pennsylvania, he made sure that he was still involved with city government. So, for example, the Verizon tower that is on the lands that used to be part of the railroad on 6th Street. If you look closely, there is a tower there. It's behind the trees. He was pretty much the person who got the neighborhood together and made sure that Verizon put that tower exactly where they wanted it to be. And then and then the other thing was that at that time, I still had my store on Spring Street, and he came to me to ask my advice so that the person who now just opened the sandwich shop in the other unit there, made sure that they knew the steps to get their plan approved, and it still took them 2.5 years. To get everything approved, because of course, it being a sandwich shop, not only did they have to go through the city, they had to go through the state for a bunch of things, but that place is finally open, and he was one person to make sure. So, like I said, even though there were times when he didn't work for the city, he still made sure that things moved ahead in the city. I think we can all appreciate his hard work. I don't know if the commissioners have anything else to add, since a few of you probably only knew him from the Zoom meeting. Will
Yes,
Will does,
Mr. Chairman.
Will did know him.
Yes,
So
thank
go
you.
ahead.
I appreciate it. It was good that you and I did represent the planning commission at the funeral service. I knew my friend Frank since sometime in the 2000s, and he was only able to serve a short stint on the planning commission. But I want people to know that he agreed to volunteer to serve, even though he knew for some years actually that he had a terminal illness. And he still wanted to serve the city that he cared about deeply, that he was devoted to as a public servant. And as you point out, he served the city and the community in a number of ways. Even when it was a source of stress for him, he continued to serve one way or the other, either in some official capacity or as a volunteer, and he did so with integrity. Really a model public servant, and appreciated him as a person and a friend, and in that capacity, wish we could have had him as our colleague longer, and he will certainly be missed. And thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Next on my list, I have ARIS training. I don't know if Bethany Ayers Fisher was able to get a hold of you yet.
Not yet, no.
I introduced Will to Bethany at the funeral, at Frank's funeral, and Bethany said to us, I was at a conference last week, and we can have access to this huge database for it costs, but it was like only $5,000. So Bethany was like, I'm writing the check right now. And what this will give the planning commission, we will all have access to a database that has stuff like where gas stations used to be and where there's the probability that there are underground tanks still there, and all kinds of data from all these different databases, and they bring it all together so that it is searchable for the city. And I don't know if Tim has any familiarity with this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to. I'm trying to think of the name of those maps. It was done back in the 1800s, back in the horse and buggy days. It was done by a fire insurance company, and the name just slips me. But we used to use it a lot when I did phase 1 site assessments for properties, because you could trace back, what used to be on the property. That may not be any visible remnant of what was there, but it was there because they recorded it. Wow, I just can't think of the name of that. It's pretty. You can. They can become addicting. You start looking at it, and then you want to see what's next to that and what's next to that, and
Are
it's
those
pretty.
Stanford maps, Tim?
Say
Are
it
those the
again, please. Sandberg.
Stanford?
Yeah, yes. The Sanborn maps. Exactly. Yes, I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that might also be included with this ARIS system. So
ARIS is what it's called?
yeah, ARIS. So
ERIS.
that's ARRIS.
Oh, okay.
I remember seeing it somewhere,
Okay.
because of course I didn't have Bethany spell it out for me. But Bethany said in the future we will get training on this at one of our workshops.
I would love to.
So I think it's going to be a great thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure lots of your friends already have access to this, so they're using that.
Right.
For us to also know the city better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So so I think that's good news, and I think it'll help Jerome out also. And his team. Next on my list. Okay, there will be a public forum coming up discussing changing Cotton Street to a one-way street. I don't know if you saw this in the newspaper. I will bring this up at the next workshop meeting, because I have a plan. I have a plan that I'll spell out, and it might work, it might not. I'm not a traffic engineer, but I'll spell it out and then we can talk about it at the workshop. Because the fire department's afraid that if they make it one way, they're gonna have to send the equipment up to South Street. And getting through South Street with a normal car is difficult. So, but gaining 120 parking spaces seems like a good idea too, if they make it one way. So this is something we'll discuss at the next workshop meeting.
And just to let the commissioners know that, that Nathan Mance has engaged the mayor and the managing director, Public Works, police department, fire department, and they have a good traffic engineer on board. They have traffic planning and design that's been working on a lot of these ideas. There's other areas of the city too that they're looking at, taking a hard look at, answering some questions that I've been asking. Why can't we park on North 6th Street in the 0 and 100 block where there's no parking on the east side? Like, why? And there's other blocks where there's no parking, and I can't figure out why. It's just that's the way it's always been. So they're asking good questions in order to try to drum up some more on-street parking.
So, yeah. So I think, as I said before, I think Nathan is approaching his role a lot differently than any former executive director of the parking authority. And, if we can help him out a little bit, we can do that. And like I said, I do have an idea to address the fire department's concerns, and we'll see if it works.
Do you have any sense of how much parking capacity we are actually lacking or to meet demand?
Oh, I think they do have a number for that. Do you know that off the top of your head, Tim?
I think I heard Peter say, do they have a number of what the demand is for parking?
How much capacity we're lacking?
Yeah, how much we're lacking. Yeah, well, I don't know that it's the city's responsibility to provide for the demand, but there's definitely a disparity between the number, the demand for parking and the available parking on the street. And I don't know that he has that or not, but it's a good question. It's a good question to ask him. I think right now he's just trying to find parking where it's needed and looking at the low-hanging fruit. Is Cotton Street a low-hanging fruit? Well, maybe it is, maybe not. But he's looking at it, and I agree with you. He's taking a hard look at it, and I sure appreciate it.
I would just add, share this as well. We participated as a body, or we were invited to participate in the parking plan discussion. Well, I think it was a part of the downtown master plan or something, one of those plans, and the parking component thereof. And one thing I suggested was it was a big success on Fifth, in the 400 and 500 blocks of Penn Street where there's the diagonal parking. In some places we have diagonal or perpendicular parking in the city. And I've encouraged taking a look at where that would be feasible, because that really saves or increases the total amount of parking available. Besides other things like encouraging, we talked about, and it was in our draft of the comprehensive plan, car sharing and bike sharing as well. I think it's called ride sharing, and other ideas of that nature. I think you brought up something about the electronic scooters, even that concept, whatever can decrease the demand for the parking. I just wanted to add it because it fits in. It reminds me, and I wanted to thank the staff. I was able to see all the documents that would be the framework for our new attempt at the comprehensive plan, or what we had in the appendix before, and as a framework to start with. So that was how I think that was the right set of documents. So I look forward to our next discussion at a future workshop on that. Thank you.
Very good. And then the next thing I saw in the newspaper that the school district will be holding a public meeting concerning the STEM high school on February 22nd, but I forgot to write down where it's at. Where the meeting will be at. So I will update you on that when I read the entire article.
Is this a school board meeting or what?
Administrate, I think it's the school district administration is asking for public input on this project, which I don't think they've ever done before on a school. So this is good stuff. Did you see that in the paper, Will?
No, I did not. Thank you. I know they have to have a public hearing when they're closing a school, but yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think it's a legal requirement, but so that's good. That's good to solicit public input.
Yeah, actually, I believe it is. When I worked with the school district, there's a component for the state that they have to fill out, and one of them includes a public meeting, and I think that's what this is about.
So, yeah, I was trying to remember because I know. Yeah, I know we did open some new schools, or I know it's true when we have to close it. I think that might be what they're talking about then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess when we opened the former St. Joseph High School and the former Jewish Community Center, we probably had those.
Right, and the Citadel.
I think, yes, I don't think they were well attended, but it's good to encourage public participation. I think it would be helpful.
So yeah, I'll send that article out for everyone. Okay, I said enough. Next, we have approval of the Planning Commission minutes from November 22nd of 2022. I had one very minor correction. There was a the missing in one of the sentences.
Wow.
Which Brandy, I think, is already taken care of. And here they are. Okay, great. Did anyone have anything else on the minutes? Okay.
I'm still behind on those, sorry.
Yeah. All right. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of November 22nd, 2022 with that one correction? Okay. Dan and Peter? Okay. And question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, I heard from everybody, so very good. We have approved minutes. Thank you, Brandy. They're really good. So the next Planning Commission meeting will be the February 21st workshop meeting, and Brandy will get that agenda out in a little bit, but we already know quite a bit of what we'll be going over at that. I don't know if any plans will be coming up. Sketch plans are coming up for discussion, but we'll see when that deadline hits, which is what, February 6th or February 8th, something like that. Jerome?
First Tuesday of the month.
Okay, great. So we'll know by then if we have something like that. And then on Tuesday, February 28th, 2023 is our regular meeting. Considering how much stuff we put aside today, unless we get an avalanche of plans, shouldn't be too bad. I think we worked through the avalanche of plans for the past 2 years that came up in the past 2 years. So things are slowing down, of course, a little bit because of the rising interest rates. But indications are that they might not go up too much more in the next year. So luckily we have other things to work on. And with that, any other comments for the good of the order?
Mr. Chairman, my apologies for not being present. As you know, Attorney Hartman was going to cover for me because I had a conflict at the very last minute. That conflict got canceled, literally not providing me enough time to get to City Hall. So I'm glad I was able to join you tonight and via Zoom.
Yep, and Chris did a great job. We were able to move things forward on that. One of the things was he wanted us to make sure that in the wireless ordinance that the design manual was referenced within the ordinance and questions like that. So it went very well.
And I had my camera off because my dog kept coming to my aid, or to my side. Oh.
So, yeah, my cat was all over my desk today, so I know what that's like. All right, with that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Dan? Nelson? Question on the motion? Well, no, we don't need to question that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. By the way, thank you, Tim, for your information on handicap spaces. My wife's ticket was forgiven.
I'm glad that worked out.
I got my wife got her $205 back.
Nice.
Very good. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Safe
Thank you.
travels to Jerome.
Thank you. Good night.
He's not even
night.
in the country.
Oh. Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Hey,
you.
good night.